Assetto Corsa Rally Update 0.3 is one of the great sim racing updates, and it takes Assetto Corsa Rally from strength to strength. You can't really miss this update. You need to know what's in it because other sims should be doing stuff like this. Now the headline feature is Col de Turini. You start off often in the stages at night time with the flares, with the fireworks. It's just iconic, it's legendary. Even if you're not a hardcore rally fan, you'll recognise those visuals. And because of the cavernous tunnel vision you get often with the fog and everything, as your headlights try and make their way into the darkness, you end up, it becomes a bit like a horror game where you're not sure what horrors await you if you misread the pace notes or you brake too late, because there's just no forgiveness here. It's a very treacherous stage and I really enjoy it. But there's a lot more to Assetto Corsa Rally, I was going to say Assetto Corsa Evo, a lot more to Assetto Corsa Rally than just doing this Col de Turini at night. In fact, this shows, I think, the real strength of Assetto Corsa Rally, which is the engine they've built and the replayability. So you have a look here, you can see this is actually, believe it or not, the same stage on the left and the right. On the left hand side it feels super claustrophobic. Again, you're second guessing yourself. You have to be super brave or stupid to keep your foot on the throttle. Whereas on the right hand side, you can see into this valley, you have a lot more visibility. However, it's still wet conditions you can see. And actually, I think having that visibility sometimes can be a hindrance because you become overconfident, you kind of doze off the pace notes, and then you're going to wrap yourself around a lamppost. But really interesting to see how different these stages look. Again, the stage I'm on here, you get great visibility at this time of day, and it feels like the stage really opens up for you. This is Sisteron. I think I actually prefer Sisteron to the Turini, to the mountain stages in this update. There are 14 individual sectors in this update across two main stages, Col de Turini and Sisteron. Sisteron, you get these massive open expanses, but again, if you want to do this at night time, if you want to do it in a blizzard, it's going to feel claustrophobic. So you have a ton of replayability, and doing the rallies here is really fun. It's basically an inbuilt career mode because you start with a pristine car and you want to strike that balance between driving as fast as possible but also not damaging the car. And I found here at Sisteron in a really grippy car, this is a brand new Skoda Fabia, the new car they've added here, the 2022 Rally 2 car I think. It has a lot of grip, and when the track conditions are right, it can really hunker down, and it's a completely different experience where you feel like your car is mastering the track, apart from when I'm crashing and running into people. But you feel like your car is the master of the track. When you go to some of those blizzard stages, snow, low grip, low visibility, you actually feel like your car is an underdog against these beastly conditions because you know that if you get it wrong, you're going to go off the side of the mountain. So a really interesting stage with a lot of variability, and I feel like that was their intention with the stage, was to have variability, even to the extent there's dynamic weather you can have on the stages. So it could be snowing in some parts, not snowing in others, it can be more icy. Basically there's a ton of dynamism you can have to the stages, which I think is going to make doing rally stages really fresh and really fun. And I got a little bit bored of the Wales and Alsace stages in the game. I recognised all of the corners. It became less of a rally game for me and more like a track racer because I knew how to attack the corners. And this is really refreshing. Some little gremlins to know, I did find that even on my 4090, the game didn't seem to be running as smooth as it was previously. So I had to tone down quite a lot of settings to get it to run smooth. That was a compromise that I'm very happy to make, to be honest, because I like driving this game when everything feels buttery smooth. I feel like the force feedback has been increased slightly, potentially, from the previous version. Just to remind you, I really didn't like the changes they made in the previous patch to the force feedback. I felt like the force feedback for me in the original launch version on my SimuCube 2 Pro was fantastic. This brings a little bit of that detail back. My feeling is that they're struggling with compatibility and supporting so many different wheelbases. I think they've also added force feedback per car in this update, which I'm not sure is a good idea. We saw Project Motor Racing in on that. I think it makes it too complicated, but I think a little half step in the right direction on the force feedback, because in my opinion, even though the steering column might be quite smooth and dampened even maybe in reality, because we don't have G-force, because we're not feeling bumps and vibrations through our butt when we're in a sim rig, unless you've got some mad haptic stuff, I think we need to feel that a little bit through the wheel, almost abstractly, and maybe they've dialed that in a little bit. But these stages here, like back on the mountain now, you know, there is no room for error. You've got these overhanging rocks on one side, you've got often the sheer cliff edge on the other, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love driving these roads, and you have to get locked into the pace notes because everything is so blind. You just have to get locked in, and it's a great learning experience to understand. You could give this to any complete beginner, this stage here, and they would need to follow the pace notes because otherwise you will have no idea what you're doing. So I think a fantastic addition to Assetto Corsa Rally, and this is what they need more of. They were a little bit late with this update, but they need more tracks, maybe more cars as well, but I think there's a pretty good roster of cars already. But definitely more tracks and stages. We want to go to Kenya, we want to go to Sweden, we want to go to these iconic levels and stages that we've seen in other rally games. But again, just showing you here, like, you feel it's super rewarding when you do well on these stages in the Assetto Corsa Rally 0.3. And this is a free update, so I'm feeling like I got my money's worth from the game. And it's ironic because in many ways this seems like a more coherent game than Assetto Corsa Evo, its bigger brother, because Assetto Corsa Evo is stripping that back so many features and very heavily reliant on this promise of free roam, which is a new area for Assetto Corsa without mods, whereas Assetto Corsa Rally just feels like such a tight experience. You open it up, you select a stage, you select a car, and you go rallying. And this is a great example. They say all the tracks are laser scanned. You know, maybe they are, maybe they're not, I don't really know. But it's definitely a great rendition of Monte Carlo, and I think very Moorish. I think I always want to do better, I want to do more, I want to do fully clean runs. It is possible, and what you're watching right now, I'm kind of like in the groove. I'm in the groove at this moment, listening to my pace notes, trying to max my braking and, like, you know, balance that wrist between what does a 2, how tight really is this 2 going to be? Can I push it a little bit? But utterly fantastic. And again, you can do this level in snow and blizzard as well, and it will feel completely different. You can do it in rain, it will feel different. And then maybe if you're doing a ton of Monte Carlo, maybe that will refresh Alsace, and maybe that will refresh even Wales a little bit, which would be really good for the game because it just needs this type of content. It's funny because I remember when Assetto Corsa Rally came out in late 2025, came out pretty much alongside Rennsport and Project Motor Racing, two games that promised quite a lot and I think got too stretched and didn't go down to their core being of what they should have been, which is for me Project Motor Racing about driving retro cars and Rennsport ironically about driving GT3s online. Assetto Corsa Rally is a very clear proposition. You buy it, you download it, you go rallying, and it feels like an authentic rally experience. So I'm really enjoying the Assetto Corsa Rally 0.3. Let me know what you think in the comments if you're picking it up as well or trying the update, and I'll see you in the next video.